Good morning. We're coming to the end of chapter 10, and Milo has just been introduced to the orchestra, and he sees the conductor. And we'll pick it up here, where he says, "I don't hear any music," said Milo. "That's right," said Alec. "You don't listen to this concert, you watch it." Now, pay attention. As the conductor waved his arms, he molded the air like handfuls of soft clay, and the musicians carefully followed his every direction. "What are they playing?" asked Top, looking up inquisitively at Alec. "The sunset, of course. They play it every evening about this time." "They do?" said Milo quizzically. "Naturally," answered Alec. "And they also play morning, noon, and night, when, of course, it's morning, noon, or night. Why, there wouldn't be any color in the world unless they played it. Every instrument plays a different one," he explained. "And depending, of course, on what season it is and how the weather's to be, and the conductor chooses his score and directs the day. But watch, the sun has almost set, and in a moment you can ask Chroma himself." The last colors faded from the western sky, and as they did, one by one, the instruments stopped until only the bass fiddles and their somber, slow movement were left to play the night, and a single set of silvery bells brightened the constellations. The conductor let his arms fall limply at his sides, and he stood still as darkness claimed the forest. "That was a beautiful sunset," said Milo, walking to the podium. "It should be," was the reply. "We've been practicing since the world began." And reaching down, the speaker picked Milo off the ground and set him on the music stand. "I am Chroma the Great," he continued, gesturing broadly with his hands, "conductor of color, maestro of pigment, and director of the entire spectrum." "Do you play all day?" asked Milo when he had introduced himself. "Ah, yes. All day, every day," he sang out, then pirouetted gracefully around the platform. "I rest only at night, and even then they play on." "What would happen if you stopped?" asked Milo, who didn't quite believe that color happened that way. "See for yourself," roared Chroma, and he raised his hands high over his head. Immediately, the instruments that were playing stopped, and at once all color vanished. The world looked like an enormous coloring book that had never been used. Everything appeared in simple black outlines, and it looked as if someone had with a set of paints the size of a house and a brush as wide, could stay happily occupied for years. Then Chroma lowered his arms. The instruments began again, and the color returned. "You see what a dull place the world would be without color?" he said, bowing until his chin almost touched the ground. "What a pleasure to lead my violins in a serenade of spring green, or hear my trumpets blare out the blue sea, and then watch the oboes tinted all in a warm yellow sunshine. And rainbows are the best of all, and blazing neon signs, and taxicabs with stripes, and the soft muted tones of a foggy day. We play them all." As Chroma spoke, Milo sat with his eyes open wide, and Alec, Tock, and Humbug looked on in wonder. "Now I really must get some sleep," Chroma yawned. "We've had lightning, fireworks, and parades for the last few nights, and I've had to be up to conduct them. But tonight is sure to be quiet." Then putting his large hand on Milo's shoulder, he said, "Be a good fellow and watch my orchestra until morning, will you? And be sure to wake me at 5:23 for the sunrise. Good night, good night, good night." With that, he leaped lightly from the podium, and in 3 long steps vanished into the forest. "That's a good idea," said Tock, making himself comfortable in the grass as the bug grumbled himself quickly to sleep, and Alex stretched out in midair. And Milo, full of thoughts and questions, curled up on the pages of tomorrow's music and eagerly awaited the dawn. So that's where they say sunsets come from in all the colors. We'll leave it there, and next time we will be introduced to discord and din. How exciting. See you then.